Dear teachers, it is a great pleasure to interact with you on a very important topic called National Education Policy of 2020. How it is related to the advancement and the development of Indian society. Therefore, the title of this lecture is NEP and Society dash Suitability and Applicability. Friends, any country in the world is depending upon the quality of its education. In the 21st century, the whole world is witnessing a paradigm shift in higher education. From national education to global education, from general education to skill-oriented education, from education for a few to education for all, from teacher-centered education to learner-centered education, from rote learning to activity-based learning, and from one-time education to lifelong education. Now, these are the changes that have taken place across the globe, including India. When the National Democratic Government came to power under the Prime Ministership of Narendra Modi in 2014, it has taken interest in the all-round development of Indian society, including the education sector. Therefore, a committee was appointed under the chairmanship of Kasturi Rangan. This committee had examined various aspects of education, and the feedback was obtained from different institutions of higher education throughout the country. Symposias were conducted, seminars were organized, feedback was received from various stakeholders, scholars, and experts. Ultimately, the report was prepared and it was approved by the Union Cabinet on 29th July 2020. That is why it is called as 2020 NEP, National Education Policy. This document has got 62 pages divided into 4 parts. In part 1, it deals with the school education. There are 8 subheadings in this part 1 dealing with the school education. How the children at the primary level and the school level can be developed through relevant curricula, and how pedagogy is to be improved, and how there must be equitable and inclusive education for all at the primary level. In the second part, it deals with higher education. This part is very important for college teachers and university teachers. And in this part, the definition of the university, duration of the degree course, including the PG course, PhD program, omission of MPhil degrees, equity and inclusion, motivated teachers with capacity for capable teaching, vocational education, and a regulatory mechanism. All these are being mentioned, are dealt with in this part 2 of the document. The third document, part of the document deals with other key areas of the focus, like professional education, adult education, promotion of Indian languages, arts and culture, use of technology and integration, online and digital education. So it has also focused on this aspect because nowadays distance education through open university system has become popular in different parts of the world, including India. In part 4, it deals with other important 3 aspects like the strengthening of Central Advisory Board of Education, financing, affordability, and quality of education for all, and the implementation aspects, what we call the applicability of the NEP of 2020. Now, in my lecture, friends, I try to explain the suitability and applicability of this NEP in the following manner. Under the first aspect, namely education as a public good. This is very important. It considers education as a public good, which is the foundation for a vibrant democratic society. It is the public education that contributes to the building up of societies, their development, socially, economically, politically, culturally, and technologically. Therefore, the document says a sound education system is a national asset. In fact, we can recollect the observation made by the Dallar Commission appointed by the UNESCO. We submitted the report in 1996. It said, bad education is a national risk. This is a very important statement and observation. And therefore, it pointed out, education is one of the principal means available to foster a deeper and more harmonious form of human development and thereby reduce poverty, exclusion, ignorance, oppression, and war. Now, this was the statement made by the Dallar Commission. And that is quite relevant when we discuss NEP of 2020. Now, it is pointed out by several scholars that in India, we are not spending too much of GDP on education. And therefore, the NEP of 2020 aims to spend about 6% of the GDP on education. It is yet to be realized because the importance of the education is so important. In the document, it has listed 22 principles for quality education, and these principles are being regarded as the bedrock of this document of 2020. To implement these 22 principles, it has also mentioned 9 key changes for the development of the society through the quality, education. Now, what are these 9, key changes? Let me explain one by one. One is moving towards a higher education system consisting of large multidisciplinary universities and colleges. This is the first, change that is being advocated by the NEP. Multidisciplinary institution of higher education, whether they are universities or colleges. Number 2, moving towards a more multidisciplinary undergraduate education. This is very important. Multidisciplinary approach, interdisciplinary approach. There is a flexibility for the students, not only at the entrance level, but also at the exit level. We will explain that a little bit later. Thirdly, moving towards the faculty and institutional autonomy. That is very important. Faculty should have autonomy. Institutions should have autonomy. In fact, the NEP believes more and more autonomous colleges, degree granting colleges in the years to come. It has a discarded affiliation system which has become outdated, which has been disbanded in Great Britain, where it originated or where it was very popular. Number 4, revamping curriculum, pedagogy, assessment, and student support for enhanced students' experiences. Now, this is a very important, change that is suggesting. Revamping the curriculum. You have to update the curriculum. You have to revise the curriculum periodically, once in 3 years or once in 4 years. Then pedagogy. Pedagogy is very important. Pedagogy is not only an art of teaching, it is also a science of teaching. Teachers are the masters in the classrooms. Teachers are the torch bearers in framing the relevant syllabi or the relevant curriculum. Assessment of the students. Not only assessment of students, but also assessment of the teachers. It emphasizes the accountability of the teachers in the teaching, learning process, and also student support. Students must be supported because they are the main stakeholders. This is the 4th change that is suggested by the document. 5th one, reaffirming the integrity of faculty and the institutional leadership. That is very important. Reaffirming the integrity of faculty. Teachers should be known for honesty, integrity, commitment, dedication, devotion. That is very important. Dedication, devotion. Unless the teacher loves the teaching, respects the teaching, he cannot become a successful teacher. And therefore, it is underlying the importance of integrity of the teachers and faculty. Institutional leadership. Every college or the university should provide the leadership. No question of depending upon others. It must have its own autonomy. This will help in order to enhance the quality teaching, the quality research, and a better service in the field of higher education. Then the another important change that is suggested by is establishment of National Research Foundation in order to encourage quality research in the colleges and the universities. It has already been created last August 2023 by the Act of the Parliament. Earlier it was there, but a new National Research Foundation has been established. Then another key change is governance of higher education institution by qualified independent boards having academic and administrative autonomy. So each institution of higher education must be governed by qualified boards, which includes experts from various faculties and from various disciplines. And there must also be an administrative autonomy. Autonomy is very, very important. Now, for the last several years, even the earlier policies, the policy of 1968, the policy of 1986, and even the Kothari Committee also recommended the relevance and importance of the autonomy. More and more colleges should come forward to adopt the autonomous status and also to frame their own syllabus, to grant the degrees, and thereby they can excel in the field of both teaching and research. Then the other important change is, 8th one is light but tight regulation by a single regulator for higher education. It has advocated National Higher Education Commission of India. Higher Education Commission of India. It is a new umbrella body under which 4 other bodies will be created in order to supervise the operation of the NEP of 2020. And finally, it also emphasizes the change called increased access, equity, inclusion. This is very important. In other words, accessibility, affordability, accountability, inclusivity are the major changes that are advocated by the NEP of 2020 in order to provide education for all sections of the society. Higher education should not remain as a domain for elite class only or for the urban students only. It should reach the nook and corner of the country, and then only the country, will be developed as a modern country in the 21st century, or what NEP called Vishwa Guru in the 21st century. Now, therefore, friends, Kothari Commission in 1968 made a very important statement that the destiny of the country is shaped in the classroom. Even though that statement is not repeated here, its spirit is found in this document of 2020, of NEP. This is the first aspect regarding the suitability of NEP of 2020 to Indian society. Then the second aspect is holistic development of learners. That is very important. Holistic development of learners. Learners mean students. They are the stakeholders. Today we are emphasizing student-centered teaching learning process. Teachers are only guides. Teachers are mentors. Teachers are torchbearers. And therefore, they have to focus more on students. How to teach them. How to shape their personality. Holistic personality, that is very important. Holistic development. Therefore, the NEP of 2020 gives to every student holistic multidisciplinary education for all-round development. Multidisciplinary. Now, a student, he can take, political science in one semester, economics in another semester, or even literature in third semester, or science subject in the fourth semester. So there is a flexibility. There is an adaptability. This is called as multidisciplinary approach. This widens the horizon of students' intellectual ability. Secondly, NEP provides skills to enhance employability and capability to become entrepreneurs and innovators. So the NEP of 2020 gives more focus for skill-oriented education, activity-based education. That would help the students to develop the opportunity for employment. Therefore, employability and capability are the hallmarks of this NEP of 2020. And in fact, by 2025, that means within 1 year, the NEP should provide vocational education to 50% of the students. I don't know whether it is possible or not, or it will be possible or not, but it aims like that. By 2025, 50% of the learners should be provided or should be given vocational education, skill-oriented education, job-oriented education. Further, friends, the NEP of 2020 gives freedom to students to shape their own destiny by studying the subjects of their choice, which are suitable to them, in which they can excel, in which they have aptitude. The students can combine the subjects of their choice, science with literature, or science with social sciences, or science with humanities. They have the flexibility not only at the entry level, but also at the exit level from programs. Suppose a student, he may get a job in between while studying. He can leave the course. He can join the job. But after 1 year, again he can rejoin the same course. That flexibility is provided. Provision is also made for credit-based, choice-based courses based on the grading system. That is very important. Choice-based, credit-based, grading system. And for this purpose, academic bank of credit is to be created to store the credits earned by the students. This emphasizes the holistic development of the students as the learners. Not only that, the NEP also aims to develop knowledge of the learners, skills, values. Particularly, it emphasizes constitutional values. What are the important constitutional values? secularism, democracy, republic, social justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, integrity of the country. These are the important constitutional values which are reflected in the preamble of the Constitution. And therefore, every learner must understand these important constitutional values. And also human rights. That is very important. We are living in the 21st century, and in many countries of the world, democracy is operating. It is a popular form of government. Under democratic system, human rights are being protected and recognized. They are also to be promoted. And even in India, we have got so many rights, including the fundamental rights, included in the part 3 of the Constitution. There are 6 fundamental rights today. Right to equality, that is the first fundamental right. Right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, right to constitutional remedies. This is very, very important. If these fundamental rights are violated, then one can approach the Supreme Court directly under Article 32 of the Constitution. So from that point of view, friends, the NEP emphasizes the importance of the human rights, sustainable development, global well-being, reflecting global citizenship. Today, the India government is emphasizing one earth, one future, one family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That is the motto of the present government. Because we believe in one earth. What happens in America may have its impact on India. What happens in India, it may have its impact on other countries. And therefore, despite the sovereignty of different countries, they are all thinking together that we live in one earth. And that is being emphasized. And therefore, the NEP tries to promote the significance and relevance of the global citizenship. This is very important. It also aims at to instill a deep pride in being Indian in thought, Indian in spirit, intellect, and deeds. That's very important. Be proud that you are an Indian. That is very important. An Italian writer, Niccolo Machiavelli, made a statement in 16th century. I love my country more than my soul. That is very important. I love my country more than my soul. Even in Indian classical verse, we say, motherland is greater than heaven. Motherland is greater than heaven. Whatever may be the background of the citizens, we are all Indians. We are all proud Indians. India has a history of, knowledge. India has a history of civilization. India is one of the oldest countries in the world. India has contributed immensely in various fields in different ages, from ancient period to the modern period. Earlier, we had great scholars in India. Kautilya was a great teacher. His book Arthashastra, cannot be forgotten. We have got so many mythologies. We have got Ramayana. We have got Mahabharata. We find political ideas in these classical works, and they reflect the values of Indian society. All these are being reminded, in this document of, 2020, and therefore, learner-centered learning is recommended and emphasized. And in order to develop the holistic development of the students, the NEP also emphasizes or recommends what we call National Scholarship Portal. It should be created. Financial assistance should be given to all category of students, particularly those who come from disadvantaged groups, socially, economically disadvantaged groups, STs, SCs, and also other backward classes group. These are the important aspects that are found in NEP of 2020 regarding the holistic development of the students, holistic development of the learners. Then the third suitability of this document is imparting high quality education. Friends, you remember, you are the masters of quality teaching. Please remember, your role is very central and crucial. That is why your service conditions have been improved, not only by the central government, but also by the state governments. How to achieve this excellence in teaching and research? NEP of 2020 aims to achieve global standard quality both in teaching and research. Global standard quality, that is very important. You have heard the name of Harvard University, Yale University in America, Stanford University again in America, Chicago University. If you go to England, it is the Oxford University. It is the Cambridge University. If you go to Singapore, Singapore National University. In India, we have got good universities, but we have not been able to achieve that international level according to the international ranking system. Indian Institute of Science at Bangalore is one of the topmost institutions in the country. We have got JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi University, earlier no, even to some extent Jadavpur University. If you come to southern part of India, Madras University was known for reputation, high scholarship. And even University of Mysore, which is considered as one of the oldest universities in the country, first in the state of Karnataka, established in 1916, was earlier considered as one of the notable universities. But today there are so many problems. There are so many challenges. 40% of the teaching posts are laying vacant, not only in the University of Mysore, but also in other universities. Therefore, under these circumstances, the NEP wants to achieve global standard in quality, not only in teaching and also in research. It suggests the formulation of what we call institutional development plan. Please remember, institutional development plan to restore India's role as a Vishwaguru. You must have a plan. You must have a vision document for 5 years or for 10 years. That is very important. If you want to have a development plan you must have a planning system. Unless you have a plan, unless you have a vision, you cannot develop the institutes. We have seen some private institutions in various parts of the country, how they have developed. Whenever you get vacation, visit Bharat, have a Bharata Darshan, visit some of the prestigious institutions, either in Rajasthan state or in Gujarat state or in Delhi. If you go, whenever you go to Delhi, visit JNU, visit Jamia Millia University, visit Delhi University, visit IIT. When you go to West Bengal, Kharagpur, when you go to Chennai, visit IIT, University of Madras. Now, if you come to Mysore, visit the campus in the University of Mysore, Bangalore University. There are so many opportunities for you to go and visit. If you go to Varanasi, you visit Banaras Hindu University. It is a sprawling campus, beautiful campus, one of the best universities in the country, according to me. I have seen how the Banaras Hindu University has been working as a very quality institution of higher education. Therefore, it also suggests the establishment of National Technology Forum in order to develop digital education resources. Digital education resources. Technology is integrated. Without using information technology, your teaching will become outdated, your research will become outdated. Every teacher must have a computer application knowledge. That is very, very important. Laptop has become a book. It has become a routine thing. Today, technological revolution has taken place that you can talk to anybody anywhere in the world within no time. Internet facilities available, website facilities available, communication system is available. Now, how online programs are being organized. I can see your face, you can see my face. Even though this is not a substitute for physical classes. Physical classes, they have their own values. And therefore, The digital national education forum must be created in order to develop this, to develop digital education resources, and also to promote research, national research foundation to be created. And it has been created last year. It has been created in August 2023. And therefore, the NEP of 2020 has categorized the institution of higher education in two categories. One is teaching intensive universities and colleges. Teaching intensive universities and colleges. Number two, teaching intensive or research intensive universities and colleges. Research intensive universities and colleges. Now there are some institutions which are focusing only on research. You can divide them, and that facility has been provided, under this what we call new education policy. Now regarding the quality education, the NEP emphasizes certain important aspects. Number one, teachers must be motivated, energized, and capable. It has used these words. You must be a motivator. You must be a torch bearer. No, the word teacher has 7 letters. Each letter has its own significance. Let me explain this. The letter T stands for transformation. A teacher is a transformer. He is not merely a transmitter of ideas or a dictator of notes. A teacher is a transformer. He can change the personality of the learner mentally and physically. In that sense, a teacher becomes an architect. He becomes a sculptor. How Radhakrishnan, was a great teacher, you know that? When Radhakrishnan went there to Soviet Union as our ambassador, he transformed Joseph Stalin, who was a communist leader, who was a person who did not bother about humanism and human rights. When Radhakrishnan met him for 20 to 15 minutes, he changed his mind. And it said, he stood up, hugged Radhakrishnan and said, "Sir, you have transformed me into a human being from inhuman being." That was the character of Dr. Radhakrishnan. That is why his birthday, 5th September every year, he is being celebrated as a Teacher's Day. Radhakrishnan was an ideal teacher. Radhakrishnan was a popular teacher. Radhakrishnan was a person who had capability to attract the students. That is what we learn. He was a professor of philosophy in the University of Mysore during early part of the 20th century. He taught in the Maharaja's College. You remember that. Later he went to, Andhra. Then he went to Banaras University. Then he became the executive chairman of the UNESCO. Afterwards, he became, the vice president of India and then president of India. Nehru had a great respect for Dr. S. Radhakrishnan. In that sense, T stands for transformation. You are a transformer. That is one. Number two, E. A teacher is an educator. You educate the people. You teach the syllabus. You teach the subject. Thereby you become the educator. Then A. A teacher is an advisor. You are an advisor not only on academic matters, on co-curricular matters, on extracurricular matters, on socially responsible activities. You advise a student. Some students, they may face several problems. Financial problem, personal problem, family problem. They may be intelligent, but they have their own, problem. Now it is the duty of the teacher to advise to become courageous, to become patient, to learn, to develop discipline. It is the duty of the teacher to teach the students discipline. Discipline is very, very important. The word discipline has a wider meaning, has a broader meaning. It indicates punctuality of time, seriousness of the matter, thinking, encouraging creative ability, critical attitude, developing rational thinking among the students, developing encouragement among the students. In that sense, a teacher is an advisor. Then there is C. A teacher is a creator. You create the future generations. That is why I quoted Kotari Commission recommendation. The destiny of the country is shaped in the classroom. How India will become developed? Why America has become so developed country? What is the population of America? Today it is only about 32 crores. But I have seen America. In America, after national defense, they give more importance to education. In America, universities, teachers go to the libraries at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. The libraries work for 24 hours a day. That is how they get Nobel Prizes. Not only in the natural science subjects, but also in economics, even sometimes in literature. Go to small countries in Europe, how they have developed. Go to South Japan or even China. But in India, we have talent, we have opportunities. But most of our teachers, somehow or the other, they are not acting as creators. Therefore, the future of the country is depending upon the quality citizens. The quality today, India has become a leading power according to many observers. Chandrayana, now we are moving towards the sun, we are moving towards the earth. So many explorations are taking place. DRDO, ISRO, they're all working. They're all Indian scientists. Central government is encouraging them. State governments are also supporting them. So in that sense, according to me, a teacher is a creator. Then there is H. A teacher is a harmonizer. Please remember, India is a divided society. It is a plural society. It is a segmented society. People, students come from different backgrounds. It is our duty in the classroom to create a social harmony, to create a educational harmony, to create harmony of all aspects. In order to see that India will develop, we should promote the national unity and national integrity. In that sense, friend, secularism is very important. Secularism means, according to me, it is humanism, respecting everyone. Forget your religions. Forget your social background or economic background. We are all one. We are all Indian, proud Indian. That is very important. We are the respectable citizens of this country. Then E, another E is there. A teacher is an elucidator. See, you elucidate. You give clarifications to so many jargons, doctrines, and so many problems that come at the time of teaching and research. You explain them, you clarify them, you elucidate them. For example, for economic professor, today we talk of meltdown. In America, they use the word hiring and firing. Now, what does it mean? Hiring means appointing. Firing means dismissal. In America, they have got position classification. But in India, we have got rank classification. What do you mean by that? Position classification gives importance to specialization. Rank classification doesn't give. It believes in ranking system. IAS means, IAS is a rank. In India, an IAS officer can be appointed to any department. Today, he may be a commissioner in the health department. Tomorrow, he may become the vice chancellor. All these are there. Now, how IAS officer, retired IAS officers are being appointed as election commissioners in India. Therefore, in India, we have ranking system. Which is good, which is bad. Economic determinism. Now, that was suggested by Karl Marx. What do you mean by that? Because according to Karl Marx, economic factor determines everything. Economic factor determines everything. Dialectical materialism. What do you mean by dialectical materialism? Dialectic. I may say one thing. You may oppose that. but both of us will reconcile. That will become dialectical approach. Thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. It can be achieved through dialectical approach. This can be explained by the teacher in the classroom. Then the last one, R. It stands for research. A teacher is a researcher. My good friends, most of you are teaching in the colleges. Don't think that research is the responsibility of university alone or the PG department. It is the responsibility of the college teachers also. Higher education includes degree education and PG education. This must be remembered. And from that point of view, the NEP recommends quality recruitment on the basis of probationary period. Tenure track, it says, you must be appointed for 3 years or 4 years, depending upon your output, depending upon your quality teaching and research, your tenure may be continued or it may be, fired. That is what it says. Then also teacher education also must be encouraged, not only in teaching, pedagogy and writing. See, nowadays, I have come across many students have forgotten reading and writing. They are interested only in a smartphone, apps. Advise them. Books are classical. Original information is available only through government reports, through classical books, through prescribed textbooks, not apps. Google is not a substitute for Guru. Remember that. Venkaiah Naidu, who was the Vice President of India, he used to say that Internet or Google cannot become a substitute for Guru. Guru is a Guru. A teacher is a teacher. A teacher can change the whole world. We have all been changed by our Gurus. We cannot forget some of our great Gurus, either at the primary school level, high school level, or at the college level. And therefore, friends, teacher's education is very important. Pedagogy, teaching is an art. Teaching is a science. A teacher is a master. A teacher is a minister. A teacher is an administrator. A teacher should have a very good body language. A teacher should have a very good communication skill. That is very important. How you speak in the classroom. A teacher should combine, according to many experts, 90% wisdom, 10% humor. You can attract the student in the classroom. Students don't want to absent themselves from your class. That requires the pedagogy. Training is required. And also writing. How to write the thesis. How to write the PhD thesis. What do you mean by research methodology? How do you collect data? How do you collect data? How do you analyze data? How do you write the first draft, second draft, third draft, fourth draft? How do you put the footnotes? Research methodology is there. You have to attend. You have to conduct seminars or workshops on research methodology or attend workshops in other colleges or universities. You must have an open mind. All these, friends, are being emphasized under the NEP in order to promote quality education, teaching and research. And therefore, it calls for the creation of national mission for mentoring to support teachers. The teachers should work as academic leaders. They should also work as mentors. Mentoring system, we say. In some earlier it was called as tutors, but now they are calling it as mentors. Now 10 to 20 students can be allotted to you. And here it is your duty to advise them how to read, how to write, how to prepare the notes, how to prepare the dissertation, how to prepare the classroom notes, and how to write in the examination. All these are being emphasized by this what you call NEP of 2020. Then the other aspect of this 2020 NEP is equity and inclusivity. That is very important. Equity and inclusivity is more suitable for India, which we call it as a developing country, a country with a wide diversity. Accessibility, that's very important. Accessibility, affordability, accountability, quality, equity, inclusivity, employability, flexibility. These are the hallmarks of the NEP of 2020 to achieve the goal of equity and inclusivity. Now, friends, you read one book on Indian history. India is a very wonderful country. What was ancient India? What was medieval India? How the Mughals came and conquered India. Then how Britishers came, how they conquered India, what happened during their regimes, and how we got independence in August 1947, how the National Congress was formed in December 1885, freedom struggle. You must have a knowledge, whatever subject you teach. Whenever you find a time, you read one book on national freedom or on India's history, Indian history, modern Indian history. Don't bother about the ancient history and medieval history, modern Indian history. You will come to know what India was and what India is. What was the position of India in the whole world? Therefore, that requires that India is a plural society. It is a divided society. We have got 6 major religions. We have got more than 10,000 cats and sub-cats. We have rural and urban divide. Urbanization is taking place very rapidly, you remember. Population is increasing. When we got independence in 1947, the population of the country was about 30 to 35 crores. Today we have crossed 140 crores. From second place, we have come to the first place after China. And what will happen? Remember, 5 years ago, the number of voters in India were calculated to be 91 crores. But now they have increased to 97 crores, 6 crores. Within 5 years. That means every year we are adding more than 1 crore population to India as a demography. And India is geographically 7th largest country in the world. Earlier it was called as the subcontinent. Even today, some people may say, but we have lost Myanmar, Burma, we have lost Pakistan, we have lost Bangladesh, we have lost Afghanistan. But today, India is the 7th largest country geographically. It's a diversified country. Cultures are different. We have got so many languages. Thousands of languages are there. Most of them have no, what you call script. They are called as spoken languages. And 22 languages are recognized in the 8th schedule of the Constitution. English is not recognized. Remember that. English is not there. Urdu is there. And other state languages are there. And therefore, the NEP, in order to promote the equity means justice. Inclusivity means that education should be provided to everybody. It should not be the monopoly of few individuals, or the rich people, or the elite class, or the urban society. And therefore, more educational institutions shall be established and developed in the country. In fact, it wants to establish one university or one higher education institution in every district. In every district. That is why in Karnataka, when BJP government was there, a year ago, Mysore University lost some of the, affiliated colleges. Chamarajanagar got its own university. Hassan got its own university. Therefore, the jurisdiction of the University of Mysore has been dwindled. It has been reduced. Mandya, another district, has got its own university. Therefore, today in Karnataka, there are more than 34 public universities or state-run universities, apart from what we call private universities. Therefore, today, remember, the expansion of education has taken place to such an extent that in India, according to the report of 2022, September 2022, there were 1,055 universities in the country. Expansion. In order to provide inclusive education for everybody. Among them, there were 54 central universities, 456 state universities, 126 deemed universities, and 419 private universities at that time. I think after 1 year, I don't think many universities have been created. That shows that the NEP of 2020 believes in the expansion of higher education institution in order to provide education to all sections of the people. And not only that, it also wants to increase the gross enrollment ratio in higher education from 26% to 50% by 2035. Today, it is estimated to be 26%. And by 2035, it wants to increase to 50%, in order to promote the inclusive education. In order to promote this inclusive education, NEP made several suggestions that are to be taken by the governments and also by the institutions of higher education. What are the steps to be taken by the state governments and also by the central government? Number one, sufficient funds are to be allocated for socially, economically disadvantaged groups. Sufficient funds. They should be earmarked by the governments. Therefore, they can be given financial assistance. Number two, clear targets must be settled by the governments for these, what you call SEDs, that is socially, economically disadvantaged groups, so that nobody is left out from the benefits of higher education. Number three, it wanted to increase the gender balance in the domain of higher education. Of course, in recent times, there will be a lecture on that later, but in recent times, more and more enrollment from female section is taking place in Tamil Nadu, in Karnataka, and in various parts of the country. More and more girl students are being admitted to the institutions of higher education. Now, particularly, the NEP says there must be a gender balance in the field of higher education. And it also says support the quality higher education institutions that teachers either in the local language or Indian language or bilingual language. So it promotes even the local languages also. And in fact, NEP is giving importance to the regional medium of instruction. That is a very new development, and that is being welcomed by many people. And it also recommends the conduct of outreach programs on higher education opportunities and scholarship among the students. Outreach programs may be conducted. It also wants to encourage technological tools for the participation of the students from different backgrounds. That means technological tools are to be promoted and improved by the governments. In the same way, it also recommends several steps that are to be taken by the institution of higher education for inclusive education and quality, or what we call equity in the field of education. Therefore, friends, the NEP of 2020 is very important. Its suitability has to be understood. If it is understood properly and implemented or applied properly, the country can become one of the Vishwa Gurus in many decades to come, or in the decades to come. And from that point of view, several steps have been taken, and particularly the Ministry of Education at the central level is taking a lot of interest to encourage the students and to encourage the state governments to take steps for its implementation and also to get benefits from its what you call applicability in the years to come. Now, this is the suitability of the NEP of 2020, and in the next session, I will discuss about applicability. What steps will be taken, for the applicability or for the implementation of the, NEP, and I will discuss this after 10 minutes break. Now, if there are any questions, welcome. Interactions, welcome. Because according to the timetable, 3 to 3:15 is meant for discussion, interaction. It should not become a monologue. Let it become a dialogue. Any questions, comments, welcome.
Excuse me, sir. This is Dr. Anantram. Now we are seeing what are the benefits of the NDP and other things. The lecture is very fine, very enthusiastic. But even then, why statement is not ready to adopt this NDP? Why state government is not ready to adopt NDP? They are going for the state education policy.
Karnataka, no, it was already implemented by the BJP government. Steps were taken, seminars were conducted, discussions were conducted. But after the Congress government came to power, no, it is all politics. You remember, education is in the concurrent list. Education is in the concurrent list. If both the central government, state governments make the policy on the same subject, and if there is a conflict between the two, the policy of the center will prevail over the policy of the state government.
State government, yes, sir.
State government, because under the Indian federal system, the central government is very powerful. Federalism is only on paper. That is a different matter. Now, Sukhdeva Thorat was invited as the chairman of the state, committee to look into, and they met for 2-3 times, and they have submitted the report. And I don't think he has made any significant recommendation to change the NDP of 2020. He has pointed out. It has not been published properly, but he has pointed out that some of the good recommendations made by the NEP of 2020 must also be taken into consideration while implementing the state education. And the present government, it is interested in the Lok Sabha election, and the present education minister, I don't think he is so what we call familiar with the challenges of the education. MC Sudhakar. He is a doctor by profession, I believe. And that problem is there. And therefore, it is being kept in abeyance. But the courses that were offered under the NEP are being continued this year. And from next academic year, I think after April, May, when the new academic year starts, we don't know what change they will make. And we have to wait and see. But remember, according to the latest information, out of 28 states, 8 union territories, only 14 states and union territories have not made any MOU with the Ministry of Education at the central level to implement this NEP. Majority of the state governments have implemented, or they have taken the steps. And according to the government document, this NEP is to be implemented in the next decade. That is 2030 to 2040. That is a decade for operation. That means the NEP should be totally implemented during that decade, from 2030 to 2040. That is the decade. So time is there.
Thank you.
Therefore, even central government is also going over slowly. Now elections, they have been announced. We have to wait and see. When the new government comes, what changes will be there and what development will there. It all depends upon the outcome of the elections.
Thank you, sir. Let us hope for the best.
Sir, namaskara. ಸರ್ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ, ಗಣೇಶ್ ಅಂತ HD ಕೋಟೆಯಿಂದ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿರೋದು, ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಕಾಲೇಜಿಂದ. ಈಗ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾನಿಲಯಗಳು ಈ ರೀತಿ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆಗಳೊಂದಾದಾಗ ಅದು ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ಮೇಲೆ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು, ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಪ್ರಭಾವ ಬೀರುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ಈಗ ಮೈಸೂರೇ 4 ಜಿಲ್ಲೆ ಇತ್ತು, ಈಗ ಚಾಮರಾಜನಗರ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಮಡಿಕೇರಿ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಂಡ್ಯ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಹಾಸನ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಈ ತರ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅನುಕೂಲನೋ ಅನಾನುಕೂಲನೋ? ಅನುಕೂಲತೆನ ಅಥವಾ ಅನಾನುಕೂಲನೋ ಸರ್?
ಅಲ್ಲ, ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಬೋತ್. There are both positive aspects and negative aspects. Positive aspect ಅಂದ್ರೆ inclusivity, accessibility. Students, from the rural background, from the far off places, their distance is very limited. They can go to Chamarajanagar, they can go to Hassan, or some of them who are nearby, they can come to Mysore. That is one aspect. But the other problem is infrastructure development, appointment of quality teachers. Now these are very important. NEP of 2020 emphasizes good infrastructure. How do you build the good infrastructure? Where is the building? Now in Mysore, we have got a music college, music university. Music university is still today working in the primary school building in Lakshmipura. You might have seen. They have not been able to get a campus. Now this was established when Yediyurappa was the chief minister 5 to 6 years ago. Even to this day, it has not been infrastructure. Adrinda, amele quality teachers, appointment of teachers. Who teachers? In many universities, research scholars are teaching the PG classes. How do you expect the quality from them? Now, for the last 10 to 15 years, recruitment of teachers has been stopped, both by the UGC and by the state government. Because now, payment of salary is a great burden. You remember that. Salaries of a professor in the university is very sumptuous. And therefore, to pay more and more salary means a financial burden, economic burden for many state governments. Under these circumstances, establishing in a university in every city, it is possible only when you are financially sound, when you are sound, or when you are good infrastructurally, when there are sufficient what you call manpower in the colleges or in the university. Instead of that, go for quality college in every city, in every town. Autonomous college. Autonomous college is as good as university. According to NEP, a very good autonomous college can grant the degrees, can frame its own syllabus, can get the financial support from various funding agencies and from various governments. And therefore, that aspect is being emphasized by the NEP of 2020, and that has to be recognized and followed. But I don't know, the Karnataka government at that time took the decision, but still, I learned there are problems of operation, not only in the Chamarajanagar University, but also in the Asan University. All these problems are there. Even for Mysore University, resources, mobilization resources has become a big problem, because Mysore University has to pay more and more salaries, and particularly pension scheme is there, and more pension is to be given to the retired teachers. All these problems are there, and therefore state universities are depending upon what you call state governments for financial support. But they have to find out their own resources. Mobilization of the resources is a big problem. Now, how to mobilize? That is very important. There are so many means, there are so many approaches to mobilize the resources, and that depend upon the vision document prepared by the vice chancellors. And that is why a vice chancellor should have a vision. He must be a very good academic leader. He must be a great scholar who can bring money. Now, I will give one example. One alumnus of Mysore University, I think recently, who was working in America, has donated crores of rupees, to build an institution. Now, for that, what we call Bahadur Institute of Management, located on the Mysore Road, opposite to Pasap Hospital. Now, that was built by alumnus of the Mysore University, who is working in America, in the Michigan state. When former Vice Chancellor, Professor N.S. Hegde, met him in America when he was the Vice Chancellor, he requested him to help the university. He came voluntarily and he donated more than 2 crores, and that building was built. And in his name, it is called as Bahadur Institute of Management. So, formation of the Alumni Association is one way of mobilization of the resources. Second is getting, research grants. Prepare research project, minor research project, major research projects. How in Tamil Nadu, many autonomous colleges are developed because of the research grants they get. They get crores of rupees. UGC is encouraging college teachers, to undertake minor research project, major research project. They can get 25,000 rupees, 25 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 50 lakhs. Many science subject professors, they get 2 crores, 3 crores. You can submit a proposal to the Department of Science and Technology, Department of Education, so many other departments, funding agencies, foreign funding agencies, Ford Foundation is there, BBC is there, and there are so many scholarships available, funds are available. You have to identify them, prepare the projects, submit them, pursue them, and get the money. That is one way of mobilizing resources. That requires the dynamic leadership on the part of the professors and on the part of the university administrators. Otherwise, if you try to carry on routine work, coming to the college every day, teach your syllabus, go back to the house, that will become routine. That is.
Sir, namaskar, sir.
Yes.
Sir, namaskar, sir.
Yes.
Sir, Dr. Shantanu ಅಂತ ವುಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಚಾಮರಾಜನಗರದಿಂದ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಗ್ರಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಸರ್. ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಹಲವಾರು ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ಗಳು ತಮಿಳುನಾಡು, ಆಂಧ್ರ, ತೆಲಂಗಾಣಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್. 2010-12ರಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಒಂದು ಆದೇಶವನ್ನು ಹೊರಡಿಸ್ತು. ಎಲ್ಲಾ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಕಾಲೇಜು ಮತ್ತೆ ಏಡೆಡ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು PhD ಅನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿ ಒಂದು 5 ವರ್ಷ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೋ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೈಡ್ಶಿಪ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೊಡಿ ಅಂತ. ಆದ್ರೆ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇವ್ರು ಮೊಬೈಲೈಜ್ ಹೇಗ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಸರ್? ಈಗ ಒಬ್ಬ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ more than 50 to 1 lakh ವರೆಗೂ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಫೈನಾನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಈ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ತಮಿಳ್ನಾಡಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನ ಯಾಕೆ ಜಾರಿಗೆ ತರಲಿಲ್ಲ DC ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ
ಪರ್ಸ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅವರು ನೀವು ಪರ್ಸ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ವೈ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿನ್ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟೆಡ್, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ರೀಸನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನೀವು ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ಆವಾಗ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬಿಕಮ್ ವೆರಿ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬಿಕಮ್ ವೆರಿ ಮೋಟಿವೇಟೆಡ್ ಟೀಚರ್. ಅದು ಒಂದು ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ಎರಡನೇ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್, ನೀವೇ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ನ ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಬರೀ ಗೈಡ್ ಆಗೋದೇ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್
ಇಲ್ಲ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಲ್ವ ಸರ್?
ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಸೆಂಟರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಏನಲ್ಲ. ಈವನ್ ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್, ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್. ಈಗ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಸಮ್ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟೀಸ್. ಶಕ್ತಿ ಯೋಜನೆ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಗೃಹ ಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಗೃಹಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಈಗ 4-5 ತಿಂಗಳಾಯ್ತು ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಬಂದು, 7-8 ತಿಂಗಳಾಯ್ತು. ನೋ, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಎಕಾನಮಿ? ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಎಕಾನಮಿ? ಈಗ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಯೋಜನೆ, ಫ್ರೀ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ವಿಮೆನ್ ಇನ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಸ್ಸಸ್. ಇದರಿಂದ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಏನು, ಮುಂದೆ ಏನಾಗಬಹುದು, ವಾಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್? ನೀವು ಈ ರೀತಿ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡು ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಯು ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ದ ಮನಿ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ವರದಿ ಕಳಿಸಿ, ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ಯು ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮನಿ, 10 lakhs 15 lakhs. ನೀವು 50 ಲಕ್ಷ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ 20 ಲಕ್ಷನಾರು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ದಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಅಸೆಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ದಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ಸ್. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ದೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಟು ದ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಗಿವನ್ ಟು ಯು. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂದೆ ಒಬ್ಬರು ಗುಲ್ಬರ್ಗಾ ಕಡೆಯವರು ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಇದ್ರು, ಮೈಸೂರು ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರು. ಲೇಟರ್ ಆನ್ ಹಿ ಬಿಕೇಮ್ ದಿ ವೈಸ್ ಚಾನ್ಸಲರ್ ಆಫ್ ಕುವೆಂಪು ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ. ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ನ ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ SC/ST ರಿಕ್ರೂಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ. what the policy, reservation policy. He prepared a big project and government I think gave him a lot of money to carry out the research. ಈಗ ಅದರಿಂದ ಇವತ್ತು ಅನೇಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಯೋಜನೆಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನೀವೇ ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಗೈಡ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್. ಅದೊಂದು ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್. ಎರಡನೇ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್, ಯು ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್. ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ? ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್? ಹಲೋ
ಸರ್,
ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಏನು?
ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಸರ್.
ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್. ಆಲ್ ರೈಟ್, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ? ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಟಿಂಗ್? ಯಾವ ಲೆವೆಲಲ್ಲೇ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ? ಅವ್ರ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳೇನು? ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೇ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡಿ. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ದ ಪ್ರಪೋಸಲ್ ಟು ದಿ ಗವರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್ ಆರ್ ಟು ದಿ ಮಧ್ಯಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ನಿಮ್ದು, ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿನೇ ಇದೆ. ಗ್ವಾಲಿಯರ್ UGC ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. UGC according to me is very generous in granting money to college teachers to carry out research projects, whether minor or major. ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಅದನ್ನ ಗೈಡ್ ಆಗೋದು ಒಂದು, ಅದೇ ಅಗ್ರಿ ವಿತ್ ದಟ್. ಇನ್ ಅಡಿಷನ್ ಎಸ್,
ನಮ್ಮ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯಗಳು ಈ ಒಂದು ಮಾರ್ಗದಲ್ಲಿ
ಫಾರ್ 15 minutes and afterwards
Hello.
ಹೇಳಿ.
Yes sir.
Yes.
Hello sir.
ಹೇಳಿ.
Sir. NAC accreditation grade is one of the quality indicator of institution or the university. But recently, they NAC announced without grade, you do the NAC accreditation.
Without that?
Then how one should know?
ಈಗ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಗೊತ್ತೇ, ಅದನ್ನ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಲೆಕ್ಚರ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಅದನ್ನ ಅದು ದಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ದ ಆಪರೇಷನಲ್ ಆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್, ಅಪ್ಲಿಕಬಿಲಿಟಿ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅದನ್ನ. Let us have a break for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, okay? Now, Ganesha, I can see you.
Thank you, sir.
ಈಗ ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆನಾ?
ಸರ್.
ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 3 ಮುಕ್ಕಾಲು ಸಾಕು.
Okay.